What if the firmament wasn't just about separating sky from water? What if it's actually a veil, something that caps human consciousness, keeping us locked in ego while hiding our true connection to Source? Today I'm going to break down the firmament as the spiritual barrier, how the Gnostics understood it, and why it ties directly into simulation theory, where this human life we're living is basically a programmed game, and most people are walking around like NPCs. We're going to break down the Gnostic view of the firmament as a barrier to divine awareness, look at how other religions and cultures described it, and then tie it into modern simulation theory, where this human experience might just be the code of a game, and consciousness is the real player behind the screen. Think about the ancient view of the firmament. In the Bible, the firmament was described as a dome, holding back the waters above from the waters below. Ancient Mesopotamians, Egyptians, even Greeks had their own versions of this cosmic ceiling. In Hebrew Christian scripture, when reading Genesis, it says God created a dome, separating waters above from waters below. With Islam and the Qur'an, it describes 7 heavens, a protective canopy, a structured layering of creation. In Mesopotamia, in the Enuma Elish, it says Marduk split the body of the chaos goddess Tiamat. Half becomes the heavens, a barrier holding back the cosmic waters. If we look at the Egyptians' view, then we see Nut, the sky goddess. She was envisioned as a vast celestial arch stretching across the heavens. Her body, speckled with stars, formed the firmament, sheltering all beneath her. She was the vault of the cosmos, the mother of the sun, moon, and stars, and her daily swallowing and rebirthing of the sun symbolized both time and eternity. Through her, the Egyptians visualized the uppermost realm, the boundless heavens that framed the world. Greek thought, the heavens imagined as crystalline spheres carrying stars and planets. Different cultures, different names, but the same image. A ceiling, a dome, a separation between this world and something beyond. But that's the surface story. That's the children's book version. The deeper mystical traditions always asked, what does that dome really mean? What is it separating? And that's where the Gnostics come in. One of the most interesting viewpoints is that of the Gnostics. Gnostics believed the material world was a flawed creation, a trap for the soul. The firmament is the veil separating humans from the pleroma, or the fullness of divine source. This veil keeps us in forgetfulness, locked in ego and illusion. The Gnostics looked at the world and said, this place is not the true home of the soul. The physical world is a trap, a copy of a higher reality. The firmament was the veil between the divine fullness, the pleroma, and the shadow world we call Earth. Behind that veil is pure source. On this side, forgetfulness, ego, separation. They even spoke of archons, gatekeepers of the veil, whose job was to keep human beings distracted, ignorant, locked in the illusion. The awakening journey for them was piercing the firmament and remembering, we are not from here. So let's bring this down to consciousness. Imagine the waters above as universal source consciousness, limitless, infinite, pure awareness. The waters below are what you and I experience every day, ego consciousness, human identity, the story of me. And what separates the two? The firmament. That veil. It's like a firewall, a cap, a filter that keeps us identified with the small self instead of remembering the big self. It is what has us thinking that we humans, being the waves on the water, are separate from the ocean itself. Without it, there'd be no game, no journey, no forgetting, and no remembering. Fast forward from then into today, and we can bring this into modern language because science and philosophy are starting to echo these ancient insights, only in a new language. Simulation theory. They take a simulation view. The physical world is code, a programmed environment. Human bodies are avatars within the simulation. Consciousness itself is the player behind the screen. If you're asleep, you're just running on code, like a non-player character. But when you wake up to consciousness, you realize you're not just the avatar, you're the one holding the controller. It's code, a program, an artificial construct that our consciousness logs into. The body is the avatar. The world is the game. Consciousness is not in the game. Consciousness is the player holding the controller. If you're asleep, if you're unaware, You're just running on the code like a non-player character, an NPC. You go through the motions, you follow the script, you never question the game, and you are scared to question your programming. Then you will remain sleeping through this experience of human life. But the moment you wake up, the moment you pierce that veil, you realize you're not the avatar, you're not the NPC, you're the one behind it all. The firmament isn't about sky or water. It's the veil of illusion, the barrier that makes us forget we are source. Both Gnosticism and simulation theory point to the same truth. This world is a stage, a program, a game. Consciousness is the real-life force animating it all. The Gnostics knew it. Mystics in every tradition hinted at it. And now simulation theory is putting it in language we can understand today. This human experience, it's the program. But consciousness, it's the true life force, the current that makes the whole thing run. Across cultures, across religions, whether it's Genesis, Islam, Egypt, Mesopotamia, or Gnosticism, the firmament always stood for the same thing: separation. Mystics saw it not as a wall in the sky, but as the veil of consciousness, the barrier that keeps us from remembering source. Simulation theory just updates that language for our time. So the real question is, are you living like an NPC, capped under the firmament of ego? Or are you starting to see through the veil, to reconnect with the source consciousness that's been you all along? You see through it, the game changes forever. Remember, the game changes the moment you remember who you really are.